And this is how your cat should look after sewing on the ears, and this is how it looks in the back. And on the inside, you can see how I tied my knot and buried my loose yarn in, so it looks neat on the inside. To make this crochet coin purse, the Lucky Cat crochet coin purse, here's the back of it and the inside. I used Everything Mary for the snap, purse snap. It's called a large onyx purse frame from Everything Mary. I used my G crochet hook or 4mm crochet hook. And you're also going to need a tapestry needle and a pair of scissors. And also, I like to use the larger tapestry needle in order to bury the loose yarn ends and do the sewing. But to get into these small holes of the purse frame, you're going to need a smaller tapestry needle. So you need a small one that will fit through the holes, and I'm just going to show the comparison to the one that I used for sewing the face. And also the smaller one has a long eye. Let me see if I can get a close-up of it. So here you can see the long eye that it has for fitting the yarn into. I also used one of these hooks so I can hook the yarn into the small eye of the tapestry needle. The first thing that you would do is put the hook through the eye of the needle, and then you would take your yarn and hook it, and then you're going to pull it through the eye of the needle. Now, a trick that I used is to kind of jiggle the hook up and down like that to get it through, and then it's easy to pull through your tapestry needle for sewing. The yarn that I used for this project is Caron Simply Soft, the white colored yarn. I also used Caron Simply Soft, and this is the burgundy color. It gives you the really pretty burgundy color on the nose and the ears. And then I used just a black yarn. This one is the Vanna's Soft Glamour yarn. But you should be able to use any black yarn for the face. And then for the gold, I used Red Heart Super Saver, and this is the gold color. To make the purse, we're going to do the exact same thing as the Lucky Cat, but we're going to use the white color instead of the gold. So the first thing we're going to do is do a slip knot, and you're just going to fold the yarn over on itself to form a loop, and then put your crochet hook through the loop, and then hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and thumb, and then yarn over, turn the hook upside down, go through that loop for your slip knot. And now you're going to chain 20. I'm going to show you 4 of them, but you're going to go ahead and complete 20. So you just turn the hook upside down and go through that loop for 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see how I'm creating chains. Go ahead and complete 20 and then come back. Now you're going to do a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So in the second chain from the hook, go ahead and bring up a loop. You have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through both for a single crochet. You're going to do a single crochet all the way back to the beginning. So go ahead and do a single crochet in every stitch back to the beginning, and then come back and I'll show you what to do next. I have 1 stitch left. In that last stitch, you're going to do 3 single crochet. is one. And as I'm working the 3 single crochet into that last stitch, I'm going to bury my loose yarn end. So I'm going to go behind that loose yarn end and then keep working my single crochets. So in that last stitch on the end, you're doing 3 single crochet, and then you're going to turn and start working on the opposite side. And you're going to do 1 single crochet into every stitch back across to the other end. And at the same time, I'm going behind that loose yarn end to bury it. And then once you've buried it, you can go ahead and cut it. But keep doing single crochets all the way to the end and then come back. I've reached the end and I have 1 stitch left. I'm going to do 2 stitches or 2 single crochet into this last stitch. And then I'm going to do a single crochet into the first stitch that I did on the other side. And now you're back around and we're going to start working in rounds. But before we do that, just go ahead and get a yarn marker. I'm going to get one of my scraps of yarn. And just place it right where you left off. That way you can keep track of how many rows that you've completed. So now you're just going to do 1 single crochet into every stitch. And you're just going to keep working a single crochet all the way around. So you're just going to keep working in rounds back to the yarn marker until you've completed 6 rows. And after you've completed 6 rows, come back and I'll show you what to do next. You should have completed 6 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now we're going to go ahead and do 4 more rows. Go ahead and move your yarn marker up. And you're going to do 4 more rows of 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way around back to the yarn marker. And when you've completed 4 rows, come back and I'll show you how to switch colors and start crocheting with the gold. This is how your work should look so far. And before we change to the gold color, we're going to work towards the mid of the back part of the purse. So just keep doing single crochets into every stitch until you've reached around the mid portion of the back. And then you're going to go ahead and take your crochet hook and go into that next stitch and bring up a loop. You have 2 loops on the hook. Go ahead and get your gold color yarn. And then you're going to hook the gold colored yarn and bring it through both loops on the hook. And then you're going to chain 1, so yarn over and bring the yarn through the loop on the hook for a chain. And then turn your work over and you can go ahead and cut the white yarn because we're not going to be using that right now. And then tie a knot with the loose gold yarn end. And then you're going to take both loose yarn ends as you work and you're going to bury them as you work. And we're going to start working with the gold yarn. Go ahead and go into the next stitch behind the white and gold loose yarn end. You're going to bring up a loop with the gold color. You have 2 loops on the hook. You're going to yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through both for a single crochet. And you're going to do 1 single crochet into every stitch around, and at the same time you're going to be burying those loose yarn ends. That way you don't have to do it later. Now you're going to do 1 single crochet into every stitch with the gold color, and you're going to do that for 7 rows, and then come back and I'll show you what to do next. This is how your work should be looking, and here you can see how I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows of the gold color. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish off. First, you're going to do a slip stitch, so go into the next stitch over, and you're going to yarn over and bring the yarn through both loops on your hook for a slip stitch, and then to finish off, you yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and pull the yarn through the loop and bring enough yarn through to bury into your work. Go ahead and cut it. Now you're going to go ahead and bury your loose yarn end. So you just take your tapestry needle and take that loose yarn end, and you're just going to take your tapestry needle and weave it on the inside. And then just cut that loose yarn end. Now we're going to sew the purse snap onto the purse, but first you're going to need your small tapestry needle and also your yarn threader, and this is what it looks like. And you're going to use your Caron Simply Soft white yarn. You're going to take your hook and just place it through the eye of the tapestry needle, and then you're going to take your yarn and you're going to hook it and bring it back through the eye of the tapestry needle. Now you're just going to place your purse snap onto the front, and you're going to start from the inside. Make sure you have it centered. And actually we're going to start from the outside. So you're going to go in through the front, down into the first row of your gold. And leave enough yarn to bury into your work. You can see how I went through the back. And then you're going to come up a stitch over next to where you went in. Come out with your tapestry needle. And then come up through the next hole on the purse. And then you're just going to go across, back down, and a stitch over, and out through the back. And you're just going to keep going in and out. With your tapestry needle. This is how my work looks so far, and I've made it all the way down to the end here, and there's a hole right on the end where the snap splits. So you want to go into that hole with your tapestry needle. And then continue on the other side. So go ahead and continue working in all of the holes around, sewing the purse to the snap back to the beginning, and then come back. Now when you get back to where you started, you'll want to go back in through the same hole that you started so that you end on the inside. And then you're going to take the other end that you started with, and you're going to thread that through your tapestry needle. So you're just going to get your threader or yarn threader and put it through the eye of the tapestry needle. And then you're going to grab your yarn with the hook and then thread it back through. Now sometimes you have to kind of put the hook up and down, so you kind of jiggle it up and down until you pull the yarn through. And then once you've pulled the yarn through, you can go back across and into the inside. So that way you have both yarn ends on the inside. And then just make sure you pull it so it lies flat and you can't even tell on the outside. It looks really pretty. And then you're just going to take and tie a knot on the inside. And then you can bury your loose yarn ends. Just go ahead and thread your tapestry needle. And honestly, you don't even need to use your smaller one. You can just take your big tapestry needle and then on the inside, you'll just bury it. Just take your tapestry needle along the inside so you can't see it on the other side. So you can see how you bury your loose yarn ends. Go ahead and bury your loose yarn ends. Now you can see your purse snap, how it opens and closes nicely. But on the sides, you can see how it may be poking out a little bit on your purse. So you can take your tapestry needle with the white yarn and then you can just sew it. I would come in from the inside and then come out through that side hole. Leave enough yarn on the inside to tie a knot and then just go back in on the outside. So you went out through the hole and then you're going to go in, back in on the side, on the outside of the hole. See if I can get a close-up of that. So see how I'm going right underneath, back towards the inside. And then you're just going to pull it tight. and then tie a knot. Make sure that you pull it tight against so it holds that side against the purse. And I just like to tie it 3 times. And then just leave enough loose yarn in to bury your work in the inside of the purse, and then do that on the other side as well, and then come back. So here is what it looks like when you're, this is how it should look when you're done sewing on the purse snap. And then here's the back, and this is what it looks like on the inside. And then to close it, I push in the sides of the yarn and it snaps nicely. So now we're going to do the face. The first thing we're going to do is make the nose. So I'm using my larger tapestry needle, and get the yarn that you're going to use for the color of your nose. Now with your tapestry needle, you're going to come in from the inside of your purse, about halfway from both sides of the purse, and leave enough yarn on the inside to tie a knot and bury the loose yarn in. And then you're going to go over 2 stitches and then down 1 row. So over 2 stitches and down 1 row. And then you're going to go down, straight down from where you went in, down. There's 3 rows in between, 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to come out. And then you're going to go back in where you went in initially. So your work looks like this. And then you're going to go straight across So again, it's 2 stitches over and down 1 row, right across from where you went in on the opposite side. And then you're going to go up in the top where you initially went in from the inside. And then you're going to come out through the bottom. And then back across to form the diamond for the nose. And now you're just going to fill in the inner diamond. So I'm going to come out at the top. And then I'm just going to go back in through the bottom, and I'm just going to fill in the nose with the color yarn. So just keep going in and out along the diamond until I've filled in the nose. Just make sure you don't go through the back. And you don't want to tangle up the inside loose yarn end. So go ahead and go in and out until you've completely filled in the diamond, and then come back and I'll show you what to do next. Now once your diamond is filled the way you like it for the nose, you're going to take your tapestry needle and you're going to come out from the inside at the bottom of the nose, because we're going to form the mouth. So you just take your tapestry needle and come out at the bottom of the nose. And then you're going to go down 1 row. And now we're going to make the smile. So you're going to go up 1 row and 2 stitches over. and then go back through the center, the bottom of that upper, I guess I'll call it an upper lip, right beneath the nose. You can see how I made half the smile. Now you're going to do the exact same thing on the opposite side. Up one row, over 2 stitches. Let me just make sure I'm on the same row. And then you're done with the mouth. So on the inside, you can tie your knot and then bury your loose yarn ends and then come back and we'll make the eyes. So this is what it looks like after tying my knot and burying the loose yarn ends. You want to keep the inside looking nice and neat. And now you're going to take the black yarn or whatever color you're using for the eyes, and I'll show you how to make the eyes. Now for the eyes, you're going to take your tapestry needle and you're going to go in and come out, and make sure you leave enough yarn again, on the inside for tying your knot and burying your loose yarn end. But I came out a stitch over on the same row as the top of the nose. And then you're going to go in, you're going to go up 1 row and 1 stitch over. So 1 row, 1 stitch over. And then you're going to go on the same row, you're going to go 2 stitches over, come out with your tapestry needle, and then go back in where you came out, where you went in the first time to make the top of the eye. And then you're going to go down over 1 stitch over and down 1 row with your tapestry needle, and then back up to where you went in for the top of the eye. And make sure you don't tangle the inside loose yarn end. And you've made 1 eye, and now we're going to make the eyelashes and the whiskers. So you're going to go up 1 row, up 1 row about the middle of the upper eye, and then you're going to go up 2 rows, with a slight slant, and then go 1 stitch over along the same row, and again with a slant, and you have your eyelashes. Now you're going to go out about 2 stitches over. You go on the same row as the side of the diamond of the nose. And then you're going to go over 3 stitches on the same row. And you're going to go 1 stitch down. And then you're going to go down 1 row. And then you have 1 side of the face done. And you're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. But first, you're just going to tie your knot and bury your loose yarn ends, and then do the same thing on the other side. And this is what it looks like when you're done. And I just want to make sure on the sides I pulled and sewed it so that the snap would be equal on both sides along the gold. And then when you open it up, looks like this. And you could even sew on a crochet square for the inside if you wanted. And that's your purse. Now I'm going to show you how to make the ears, and I'm just using my Caron Simply Soft burgundy color. And we're going to chain 8, but first we're going to do a slip knot. I'm just going to take the yarn and fold it over on itself to form a loop. And then I'm using my G or 4mm crochet hook. You're going to hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and your thumb. And then just yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through that loop for a slip knot. And now you're going to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you're going to do a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So you're going to take your crochet hook, go into the second chain from the hook. You're going to bring up a loop. You have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through both loops for a single crochet. And you're going to do 1 single crochet into every stitch back across. The last stitch, do a single crochet, and you're going to chain 1, and you're going to turn your work, and then you're going to do a slip stitch into the next stitch. So you're going to go into the next stitch, you're going to yarn over, and then bring the yarn through both loops on your hook for a slip stitch. Then you're going to do a single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch, and single crochet into the next stitch, all the way to the last stitch. So I have 2 left. Now in the last stitch we're going to do a slip stitch. So yarn over and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Then chain 1, turn your work, you're going to do a slip stitch into the next stitch. Then you're going to do a single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet all the way to the last stitch, and then in the last stitch you're going to do a slip stitch. So this is our last stitch. We're going to do a slip stitch. So yarn over and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook, chain 1, turn, and now you're going to do a slip stitch into the next stitch. And then you're going to do a single crochet in the next 3 stitches. And then you're going to do a slip stitch. Chain 1, turn, do a slip stitch into the next stitch. 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. And then do a slip stitch. Chain 1, turn, slip stitch, 1 single crochet, slip stitch, chain 1, turn, and then you're just going to do a slip stitch into, actually 1 single crochet, and then you're going to do a slip stitch into the next stitch, and then chain 1, turn, and then do a slip stitch into the next stitch. And then we're going to finish off. Yarn over and bring enough yarn through to sew onto the work. I'm bring a little bit more yarn through. And then I'm going to cut the excess yarn so I have enough to sew. And you have 1 ear done. Go ahead and make 1 more. And then I'm going to show you how to sew them in place onto the purse. Now just take your tapestry needle and put it onto the end that you left for sewing, and you're going to weave your tapestry needle through the ear until you come down to where you want to sew it onto the purse. So I'm just placing the ear where I want it, and then I'm just going to sew the ear into place with my tapestry needle. And then you're going to do the same thing with your other ear. And this is how your cat should look after sewing on the ears, and this is how it looks in the back. And on the inside, you can see how I tied my knot and buried my loose yarn in, so it looks neat on the inside.